Welcome to TigerWolf. I'm Josh, and this is David.
Please be aware, this podcast contains strong language and spoilers.
Hello, we're back, and we have a little bit of an announcement for you guys. We will be doing somewhat shorter episodes at about 30 minutes so that we can kind of focus our topics.
Like today's going to be called Pagedom. It's going to deal primarily with comics, manga, and other literary sources if, let's say we read a book and we're interested in sharing.
Also, we'll be dropping 2 episodes a week, so you're still getting roughly the same amount of content per week, but the second episode will be arriving on Saturdays.
Around noon or 12 o'clock our time, which is
Pacific Standard Time or daytime, depending on the time of year.
True.
I think that pretty much covers the announcement. We're basically testing this out for the season, seeing how it goes, seeing if it works better for us and for you. So take it away, David. Pagedom's pretty much your deal.
Yeah, it's pretty much my nightmare. All right, so I'm only covering a few of the ongoing books I'm reading right now. A, for time. B, because they're a bit more. One's really easy to cover, and the other two are kind of tied together at the moment. So, the first one's going to be Extinction. It's Marvel. It's the big X-Men event that's going on right now. It's basically what's been coming for a long time. The young X-Men, the time-displaced X-Men, are finally getting sent home. Just not the way they expected to.
Do you think they'll tie in? I'm kind of interjection with a thought here. Sorry if this throws you off too much. Do you think they'll be tying in Legion's recent thing to this?
Probably not to this, but I think Legion is going to be part of the new X-Men team once this concludes. I could be wrong about that, but that seems to be where they're going, at least as far as the variant covers are concerned.
Okay.
But they kick off Extermination with an old villain I hadn't seen for a while called Ahab. He's from the Age of Apocalypse timeline, if I remember right.
Who's the white whale?
Mutants. In general.
Okay.
He shows up with the intent of taking young Cyclops and turning him into one of his hounds, mutant hunters. Bloodstorm, who is on a date with Cyclops, gets in the way and he stabs her through the chest with a silver-tipped spear, killing her instantly.
All right, so we started off good.
That's how it starts. Just boom, dead.
I've killed your girlfriend. Come join me in my cause.
So Cyclops.
Wait, so Ahab uses mutants to hunt mutants?
Yes.
So he's just another Apocalypse or another Magneto or what have you.
Yeah.
They have no
Nope.
interesting villains at all. Got it.
So Cyclops attacks him. Ahab thinks he bit off a little bit more than he could chew, so he backs off. Having just killed a mutant in front of Cyclops. It flicks over to Bobby, who is at a showing of Hamilton, I believe. He gets a
Hamilton?
call. Yes. He gets a call saying, Bloodstorm's dead. And his immediate response when he answers the call is, do you have any idea how hard it was for me to get these tickets? What do you want? Ensuing information. He's like, oh, okay, I'm leaving.
Got it. You're justified in this interruption of my time.
He gets attacked by an unseen assailant. And boom, Cable shows up to save him. Old Cable.
I was about to say, which Cable, since I kind of know a little bit about this.
Old Cable shows up to save him and gets in the way, but he doesn't succeed. The assailant beats Cable and captures Bobby and puts several bullets into Old Cable, killing him. And right before he does so, he says, "You should have seen this coming, old man." the X-Men show up where Cable's body is, and the ones that are there include young Jean Grey, adult Jean Grey, Rachel Grey, all people who are like related to Cable.
Hold up. This is right after Scott was on a date with somebody who's not Jean Grey.
Yes.
His adoptive daughter and ex-wife, I'm guessing, show up?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure I understand the situation.
To his future son's dead body.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I completely forgot. His future son, who's older than he is now's dead body.
Yes. So the X-Men are like,
okay,
we have problems.
Well, I mean, that's their existence, unfortunately.
We need to consolidate what's going on. So everybody meets back at the X-Mansion. Kitty's idea is to take the remaining young X-Men, separate them amongst the current X-Men teams, each team taking one of them so that they can protect them. Kind of makes a good idea, right?
No.
Yeah, it's X-Men. Of course not. Cyclops is having none of this bullshit.
Look, let's split up, gang, is never the answer.
Cyclops is having none of this bullshit and goes outside because he's hung up on the fact that Bloodstorm was killed in front of him.
You may say he got a little blood spray on his face.
Jesus, Josh. Cable attacks.
Nothing's going to beat the human one earlier, so.
It's revealed that the assailant that killed Cable is actually young Cable, mad at his older self for letting the young X-Men stay in the present for too long, altering history. So, he's going to send them back whether they like it or not. He attacks the X-Mansion to get Cyclops and the rest. He only ends up successfully getting Angel.
Well, that's good.
Angel,
at least Angel could, fly away from him or something.
Angel has gotten altered wings at this point. So when Cable gets back to his hideout, he straps Warren up to a device and cuts Warren's wings off.
Oh.
Without putting Warren unconscious.
Cool.
He makes sure Warren feels and understands why he's doing it.
Cable is a destroyed human being.
Well, he's not even a human, technically. He's a mutant.
Well, I mean,
he's a destroyed individual.
He has similar brain dues as humans.
Right after Angel gets taken,
yeah,
Ahab attacks.
Oh my god.
So they think Ahab and Cable are working together.
That doesn't make sense. They would have attacked at the same time then.
But they don't. They're X-Men.
There was only one of them that could think good, and he manipulated the shit out of them.
Yep. So, ooh, this is where it gets fun. Okay, so Ahab attacks. Rachel goes to attack him. He throws his spear into Rachel's shoulder. Young Beast gets involved, trying to protect her. Apparently, Ahab sent 2 mutants to live with the X-Men so that he could basically turn some of them into sleeper hounds. And all he has to do is... And they're his. One of them being Old Man Logan.
How did he turn Logan into a sleeper hound? Weapon X had him.
It's...
How, I don't think there's enough not damaged in Logan's brain to do that successfully, and it just work.
That's fair. So, Old Man Logan goes to attack Young Beast. Old Beast gets in the way, gets stabbed in the side. Young Beast takes off running. 2 of Ahab's other hounds go chasing after him. Adult Beast knocks Logan out and goes chasing after them to save him, his younger self. Cable shows up and just hails gunfire down the hallway at the hounds, at Adult Beast. it looks like he ends up killing Adult Beast in the process of killing the hounds.
Necessary evil?
I guess at this point, he's got 3 of the 5.
Good odds.
Good odds so far, right? Well, Cyclops had been sent with Adult Jean, and they escaped one way. And then Young Jean went with Domino another way. Unfortunately for Cyclops, Nightcrawler is a sleeper agent for Ahab. And when he snapped, Nightcrawler became a hound, grabbed Cyclops, and teleported him into the water outside of Atlantis. Somehow they were already back at Atlantis. I'm not sure how that works.
He teleports.
He has a distance.
Yeah. The distance is wherever the fuck makes sense for this moment of the story.
But he grabs Cyclops and teleports him outside of Atlantis. You know, pressure should kill him. Jean uses
Oh, you mean underwater?
Yeah, underwater.
You just said the water. I was just thinking he was in the middle of the ocean. And I was like, I don't know. He's got laser beams.
Jean wraps him in a psychic cocoon and they get him back inside while someone is dealing with Nightcrawler.
Ooh, sounds like we're getting close to Namor's arrival in this situation.
So, Shatterstar is on the Blackbird with Young Jean and the rest of a chunk of what used to be X-Force, including Domino and Warpath. Shatterstar was the sleeper agent, and he slams his sword straight into the console, barely missing Jean. Young Jean. Everybody's freaking out. Cannonball grabs him and blows a hole the size of a barn out the back of the jet. Because reasons made sense. Got to get him away from Jean. Hey, instead of opening the hatch, I'm just going to make a hatch. They don't crash somehow. And Domino's like, look, we're going after Cable. He may be young Cable, but he killed our friend who was old Cable. So we're going to go teach him a fucking lesson by putting a bullet in his head. Either you're in or you're out, Jean. Jean's like, I'm in. You're going the wrong way. The end of the most recent issue, which was issue 3, has Jean and the rest of X-Force kicking in Cable's door. So it's going to end with the young X-Men going back to when they were supposed to. That's how it's going to end.
Okay.
Marvel's already stated that somehow Cyclops is going to get brought back in the process of this occurring. Because he's been dead for a year and a half now or something like that.
Wait, Cyclops?
Yes.
Okay.
Just comics.
Okay.
Marvel comics.
No. DC can be much worse with their time travel. And by can be, I mean always is.
Not just the time travel. It's not just it's the time travel. It's the bringing people back. It's a bad habit most comics have. Okay, so we're going to move on. Red Hood and the Outlaws. Brief recap of the story. Jason shows back up in Gotham. Batman agrees to let him operate here under one condition. He doesn't kill anybody.
So he doesn't get back to Gotham.
Jason's like, fine, I'll do it your way. He successfully takes down Black Mask without killing him. He actually doesn't do anything. He lets Black Mask destroy his own mind. Because Black Mask is trying to control Bizarro, clone of Superman.
But the fact that he didn't do anything...
Bruce wouldn't have done anything.
That. Are you sure?
Yes.
Bruce would have let him destroy his own mind.
With Jason when Jason says, actually, I took a page out of your book. I did nothing.
Because he's getting what he should get by doing something he shouldn't be doing.
Exactly.
Except for death. He doesn't let them get death.
Well, he didn't get killed. He didn't kill himself. He's just a He is just a vegetable at the end of that story arc.
I mean,
He has since shown back up with perfect cognizance, so it's fine.
of course he has.
So Jason ends up having his team of Bizarro and an Amazon named Artemis.
You realize Artemis is a Greek god, right? Isn't she?
Yes, she is.
So maybe she's not an Amazon.
She's
And just
supposed
posing as
to be
one.
an Amazon.
I'm just saying. We know
Yes.
now that the Amazons are real in the sense of they were made by the gods and knew the gods.
Yes.
And one of them is at least a god.
Artemis is part of a sect of Amazons that left Themyscira and went to Egypt. And they began following the Egyptian gods.
But her name is Artemis.
Yes, her name is Artemis. She drags Bizarro and Jason along with her to Kuwait to try to find the Bow of Ra. Kuwait happens to be where Jason was beaten to death by the Joker.
What? Why would the Joker be in Kuwait to do that to him?
Because that's where Jason's biological mom ended up as a relief aid worker.
Okay.
80s
I'll
comics.
do what I always do for DC explanations and just say, okay.
Yep.
And
there you go. Just go with that. So everything's going pretty well for Jason and Bizarro and Artemis. They get the Bow of Ra. Bizarro gets made super smart by Lex Luthor.
yeah.
Everything's fine. They're riding high. Then Bizarro's mind starts degenerating back to an idiot. So he starts dosing synthetic kryptonite to keep his intelligence up. Because he's the opposite of Superman. Green kryptonite heals him. It makes him stronger. So Bizarro becomes an addict for synthetic green kryptonite. Jason finds out that Ma Gun, the woman who ran the orphanage he lived in for a while, went missing. Her granddaughter, who has the same name, shows up and she's like, look, my grandmother said if she ever went missing, I was to deliver these letters to Jason Todd.
Do you know where he is, Red Hood?
And gives them to Jason. Jason then proceeds to read those letters. They're letters from his father when he was in prison.
Okay.
So you find out a bit more backstory as to, Jason's dad. He was actually trying to be a hero. He was trying to be a good guy. Like, he went clean for a while, and then Jason got really fucking sick, and he needed money for the medical bills. So he joined up with, I believe it was Two-Face's gang at first, and then he was working for the Riddler, and then he was working for one of the other villains, and he was moving up the ranks.
Wasn't Penguin one of them?
Penguin's the last one his dad worked for, and Penguin made Jason's dad the fall guy. So he went to prison for the Penguin. To Jason's knowledge, his father died in prison. So Jason goes to dig up the grave. He has to know. The coffin's empty. Jason then, for whatever reason, decides, all right, you know what? I was wrong. I cannot do it his way. And he goes to a...
So he left Gotham.
No,
right?
no, he stays in Gotham.
But the rule was that if he had to do it...
He goes to a fundraiser that the Penguin is holding and takes his helmet off. And apparently, the Penguin knew Red Hood worked with Batman, even though Red Hood's been trying to be this, villain. So Jason, they have a bit of back and forth. Jason shoots the penguin through his monocle in the head. Batman sees it. Batman goes after him.
Kicks him out of the house again.
He knocks Jason around like a rag doll. Like a rag doll. And one of the statements Jason makes is, wow, you've never hit the Joker this hard. You hate him.
Honestly, I don't know if Batman actually hates the Joker. Because like it's hard to hate somebody you think can't help themselves. You know what I mean?
Here's a question I have though. At the beginning of the story, Jason had a gun to the mayor of Gotham City's head and shot him. Bruce did not go after him anywhere near as hard as Jason shooting the penguin.
It might have been also just
Shouldn't you care more about the mayor than one of your play toys?
One, the penguin's not a very good play toy. Two, I think it's also not just that he did that it was in breach of the agreement they had made. It was a culmination of things. It was a culmination, including the fact that he had killed the mayor, including the fact that
He didn't kill the mayor.
Shot the mayor.
He
Whatever
shot the mayor.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he came harder.
Which saved the mayor's life. Because DC.
Well, then maybe that's why. Like, maybe I think it was just like a culmination of
all of it.
Of all of it.
Well, he also, in the process of the fight with Bruce, he loses Artemis and Bizarro because their ship goes into self-destruct mode because their ship, for whatever brilliant reason, was tied into Bizarro's intelligence. He lost his intelligence. The ship's like, yep, time to go.
The ship said, I'm out.
Yep.
Deuces.
So Bizarro and Artemis pull the ship through one of the dimensional doors, basically imploding itself, leaving Jason broken and alone on a rooftop with Batman about to beat the hell out of him again. He shatters Red Hood's helmet and rips the bat symbol off of his chest. And then catches an arrow in the hand. And then there's red smoke.
I really expected you to say knee, and I was like, no, they didn't do the marriage thing, but whatever.
And Arsenal, Roy Harper, shows up and saves Jason.
Speaking of Arsenal.
Yeah, that's where we're getting.
Something interesting happens.
Okay, here we go.
In the next book we're going to be talking about.
So at the end of Jason and Roy,
this is how you want to do it? Okay.
Roy lets Jason know he's going to Sanctuary. It's basically like rehab for capes. You know, people who've seen too much or done too much, they go there to try to work through their problems.
Okay.
Roy says he's going to go. He asks Jason if he wants to go. Jason looks at him and says, I think therapy's for quitters. And then they both laugh out loud. So moving on to Heroes in Crisis. Oh, God. Okay, so Heroes in Crisis, it opens with Booster Gold sitting in a diner. And then Harley Quinn shows up. And the lady behind the diner, she asks if there's going to be a fight. And Booster says, yeah, there's probably going to be a fight. It then jumps to Superman showing up at Sanctuary, where there are dead bodies.
Dead bodies? Who's dead bodies?
Outside.
What is you said Sanctuary is a place
like,
for rehabilitation for Crusaders,
for heroes
and whatnot.
Kind of leads to
heroes and villains, or just heroes?
Just heroes. Harley's turning into a hero, so that's why she was there assumptively.
Years of abuse at the hands of her pudding.
So
change your ways.
Soup shows up and he sees an old Titans character named Hotspot.
Hotspot?
Yeah. Like
the cold spaces on the sun? Okay.
Dead. Citizen Steel is dead. I recognized him from the pile of bodies.
Oh, I think that's Sunspot.
And so Soup starts to approach Sanctuary. And He's like, no sign of greeter. I'm going to check on. And he pushes the door open and he goes, Roy and Arsenal and Flash confirmed.
The Flash?
No, not Barry Allen, but the Flash for a lot of people from the 90s because Wally West was the 90s Flash.
Barry Allen was my 90s The Flash.
In the comics, he was the Flash.
I see he's on this cover. Both of them are.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
DC just killed 2 fan favorites, albeit, yes, Wally's fan base is a lot bigger than Arsenal's. But DC just killed 2 fan favorites.
I mean, the dude's name is Arsenal and he uses a fucking bow. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, this is like I stole from Super in my mind here. There are things that happen between the panels.
Yeah. It just... There's a chance this could be a really great story, but it's not going to be.
Okay. It sounds like it's got your attention.
Let me explain why it's not going to be a great story. Because we all know comics. Roy and Wally are not going to stay dead.
Roy might. Wally won't. Because a Flash never dies.
A Flash always dies in a Crisis book.
Yes, but never dies in the long run of things.
In the long run of things, yes.
Turns out Barry's just Adams now, yet he's still alive.
Interesting thing, in the Flash book...
Man.
In the Flash book, Flashes can no longer time travel using the Speed Force.
Good. But...
I don't know
even with the treadmill?
Even with the treadmill. I don't know if Tom King, the writer of this book, is going to acknowledge that or not.
We'll find out.
That could be the linchpin. Hey, we're just going to
go back in time again.
Save everybody.
Can Superman go back in time still?
Nope.
Does he use the Speed Force for his speed?
No.
Oh.
He's just...
So yet again, he is just the type of person I absolutely hate that they've created.
He's the perfect hero.
He is. He's a normal being from a planet that has literally beyond godlike powers.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate that about him. I really do. I don't mind him as a character in general, but I just hate that he is he's so important to DC that they're just gonna... I can't say anything that isn't moderately offensively to say about anyone ever.
But killing Wally, I think, was a stupid reason because there was so much set up for him in future story arcs in the Flash books.
I think that in a way makes its own good story bit.
And I think killing Arsenal is going to be extremely detrimental to the character of Red Hood. Once he finds out, I think we're going to lose any shred of heroism in Jason for a while. And don't let him find out the person who killed Roy is still alive. Whoever that ends up being, whether it's Harley or it's Booster Gold. Because at the end of the first issue, Harley says Booster's the one who killed everyone. Though he thinks it was Harley.
Yeah, he seemed to, from what you mentioned to me earlier when we were talking about this, it seemed like he remembered her doing it.
And she remembers him doing it.
So which one's more damaged? And honestly,
I think it's Booster.
It sounds like it might be Booster. I don't know anything about the dude. That's him, right?
Yeah, it's him.
Oh, yeah. So he looks like...
His shtick is time travel.
So he looks legitimately like your stereotypical Superman-like hero in the outfit he uses.
He tries to do good. He just usually screws it up.
That's because his stick is time travel.
Yep.
Let's look at what everything Barry's ever done ever.
But yeah, so I'm hoping it's good. And if they're gonna kill Arsenal and keep him dead, at least do me the favor. in one of the next issues, let me see how he died. Let me
I'm
see
sure.
that he didn't get killed, like just stabbed in the back. Let me see him put up a fight and go out trying to be a hero.
I'm sure they're not going to keep it off panel. I'm sure. There's no way that they're going to have Wally West die and not show how.
But they might do that to Arsenal.
They might. I'm not going to argue that, but if they died together, then
yeah, they were Wally and Arsenal was laying over the chair right next to him. One thing that does make me a little weird is Roy had his weapons. If you're in rehab, why would you have your gear?
I think that's a question for another time, David, when you have the answer.
Well, I suppose that's the end of the episode.
Please like, comment, follow, and share. And also, more importantly, thank you for listening.
Take care.
Bye.